Hey, hello, leaders. This is Paul Grau Jr., and welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges. So today's issue, man, to kick off the week, this is a difficult issue to talk about for leaders, but it's something that all leaders will have to do at one point or another. Now, the topic is how to address awkward situations or how to have those awkward, difficult conversations with your people. And when I'm talking difficult, you'll quickly figure out what I'm talking about. So this is going back into the vault. I think it was episode 93 in the first season originally. So let's go to it. And I think you're going to smile and enjoy this and hopefully learn a few things. Have you ever had to address a hygiene issue with one of your team members? Maybe one of your team members is reeking up the place a little bit and desperately needs a shower. How about a clothing issue, as in not wearing enough clothing and or not following the organizational policies? Well, sooner or later, you will have to address a very awkward personnel issue with one of your team members. And today's episode will give you a few tips on how you can approach them. Welcome to Run to Your Challenges. This is the 5-minute leadership show delivered to you 6 days a week that's designed specifically for mid-level leaders and team leaders. Every day, I discuss a different leadership challenge and offer you encouraging tips to help you and your team run to your challenges. As a reminder, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Okay, let's talk about today's challenge of awkward personnel issues. So think about what the worst thing you've ever had to address with one of your team members is or was. I already mentioned 2 awkward issues that I've had to deal with, but I can talk all day about these weird, awkward things that I've had to address with team members over the years. How about extremely bad breath or a very attractive young lady or man invading other people's personal space and nobody wanting to say anything about it? Or how about a guy handling woman issues? Or if you're a woman, handling guy issues with one of your team members? The fact is, addressing awkward personnel issues can be very challenging for all leaders. But you know what? As the leader, it's your responsibility to address these issues. Remember what I said a couple days ago. If you fail to address or correct an issue, you create a new standard for your team members to follow. You simply have to address all issues, and man, some will push you to the limit. Probably the worst ones I've had to deal with is actually the mild hygiene issues. The real bad hygiene issues is pretty easy. You just call them into your office and you could slap a bar of soap on the desk and say, any questions? It's been that easy for me sometimes. But these mild hygiene issues are the team members that may be okay first thing in the morning, but by lunchtime, they are simply unbearable most of the days. The key to addressing an awkward issue is you have to address it as soon as possible. So the reason this mild hygiene issue was so difficult was it wasn't an everyday issue. And you want to make sure you address the issue when the team member is kind of smelly. So with the hygiene issue, you never want to address those inside an office, especially if your office is small. Do this type of counseling outside and preferably upwind. You know what I mean? Do you remember seeing the episode of Seinfeld? This was, a long time ago when Jerry took his car to get it detailed. And when he got it back, it reeked of body odor so bad that he eventually ended up selling the car. Well, that's what your office can smell like if you choose to counsel somebody with hygiene issues inside your office. Just don't do it. The key to handling all awkward personnel issues is to get right to the point. I've often started out by simply stating something like, hey, this is an awkward topic to talk about, but, and then go into the specifics of the awkward topic. Another key is to not tell the person you are addressing who complained, if that's the case. Don't cop out and say, I've been hearing such and such from your fellow team members. No, you're the leader, and it simply doesn't matter who's doing the complaining. The buck stops with you. As soon as somebody brings it to your attention, it's your issue, and there's no reason why you have to include anybody else in the conversation. Now, I realize in some cases you may have to get a little creative not to include names, but never mention somebody else's name. This is a conversation between you and your team member. The third key is to stick to the point and don't get off track. The shorter and more straightforward you can be, the better. Chances are this is awkward for both you and the team member you're counseling. So get to the point, say what you have to say to correct the issue, and re-emphasize the standards and expectations. Another tip, and this kind of goes along with the re-emphasizing the standards and policies and expectations, but have some printed versions or pictures available that you can give your team member, and come up with a few solutions that the team member can take away. This shows them that you've done your homework and you're truly concerned about alleviating the issue. Finally, this is a counseling session that needs to be done privately. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a small closed office, but it should be somewhere where others are not going to interrupt you and somewhere where nobody can overhear you. So that's that. Addressing awkward personnel issues never really gets easy for a leader, but it does get easier the more you do it. Now, I'm not saying to go looking for awkward issues to address, but I am saying don't avoid the awkward issues. Remember, it's your responsibility. You're the leader, so go lead. Well, I hope you got something out of this episode. Please share this show with friends, coworkers, and every other leader you know, and especially with your CEO and HR directors, so your entire team can run to your challenges together. You can always contact me directly at Paul Grau, that's PaulGrau, at currentleadershipcoaching.com. Thank you, and until tomorrow, run to your challenges.